We just finished planting 2 large beds of garlic, a crop that I've grown for many years and have a fairly good understanding of what it might take to get a really good harvest. We planted 12 different varieties of garlic, all from bulbs that I've been saving for at least 2 years, each year planting the biggest cloves from the best bulbs produced in the previous crop. So some of the cloves are getting really big, which should produce a bigger bulb for harvest next summer, but not all the varieties have been so successful. Garlic is a hardy plant and can easily survive the winter outside here in Ireland, so I usually try to get the cloves planted into the ground by late autumn, though I suspect some of the varieties may do better if planted even earlier in the autumn, and some might do better if planted in early spring as the soil starts to warm up again. One of the large outside beds was planted with all 12 varieties a few weeks ago, which was covered with movable cold frames, and at least one of the varieties has already started growing leaves already. In previous years, I found that the young garlic plants will grow quite quickly and over winter in this more sheltered microclimate, and the leaves won't be damaged as much by the strong winds that we can get, or be pulled out by the birds looking for something to eat. In the spring, we will remove these cold frames from the garlic beds so that they can be used for another crop, and by then the garlic plants should be really well established with a good head start on the season. This will hopefully lead to a significantly bigger crop if the garlic rust doesn't affect these plants too much as they start to mature. We also planted all 12 varieties of the garlic in the large bed of one of the polytunnels. Although garlic can easily survive outside, I found it grows really well under cover, producing really large bulbs, and the plants tend to not be so badly affected by the garlic rust. There were quite a few of us planting the garlic cloves in the polytunnel bed a few days ago, and the soil was quite firm in places. I realized that some of the cloves might not have been planted deep enough, and the strong growth of the roots could push the clove out of the soil, which has been an issue in previous years. And some of the cloves have already started to send out roots 2 days after planting, lifting the clove partially out of the soil. So I thought it was appropriate to spend the time to dig a bit under a lot of the cloves, to set them deeper in the soil and cover them slightly, which will hopefully keep them from pushing out of the soil. Over the years, I found that a little bit of care early on can really help with this crop that generally doesn't require much attention for the rest of the year, apart from regular weeding and making sure that there is enough water. I expect a large harvest of garlic from these 2 plantings and hope to get really good quality bulbs if we get the timing right for digging each of the varieties out of the ground when they are ready early next summer.